The last time we had our septic tank pumped, the pumper said we should have it done again in 5 years. He based this on the size of the tank, the number of people living at our house, and the sludge and scum levels in the tank. So 5 years has passed and it's time to have the tank pumped again. To get to the tank, the certified pumper had to drive down a field road about 100 yards. For anyone just developing their home site, make sure you have easy access to the septic system for pumping and for maintenance. First, he dug to get to the lid for the manhole. The tank is only about 10 inches below the ground surface, so he didn't have very far to dig. He lifted the manhole cover and was very surprised to see that there was so little scum. I don't put any grease down the drain, and that may account for the lack of scum floating in the tank. He checked the sludge level by putting a shovel down the tank and said there was about a foot of sludge on the bottom. We don't use a garbage grinder much to speak of, and that's probably why there was little sludge. Next came the actual pumping. He connected the hoses and dropped the line down into the tank. We could see the liquid level drop slowly in the 1,000-gallon tank, but it really didn't take very long to pump out. When the tank was just about empty, he backflushed the septage back into the tank to stir up any sludge left on the bottom. That resuspended all the solids, then he pumped it out again. Some pumpers use mechanical agitators to mix up the sludge, scum, and the liquids, but he was able to get everything out by pumping, backflushing, and pumping again. The pumper also checked that the baffles were in place and attached securely. The inlet baffle directs incoming wastewater down into the tank. The outlet baffle prevents sludge and scum from moving out to the drain field. These were both secure. I asked the pumper to check the effluent screen on the outlet of the tank as well. I had this put in when the system was installed to prevent solids from moving out to the drain field. The effluent screen filters out any solids that are larger than 1/8 of an inch. The pumper was surprised at how clean it was, as he has some that he has to clean every 4 months. I'm very careful about what I put down the drain. If anyone considers having an effluent screen put on the tank, remember to have it checked periodically. If it begins to clog, your first sign is a sluggish drain. If it clogs completely, you'll have wastewater backing up into your house. I check mine about once a year before the ground freezes. He replaced the soil and sod over the tank, and it looked pretty much the same as when he first came. Then he used a soil probe to find the laterals. When he pulled the probe from the first lateral, he could see some moisture on it, indicating that wastewater was moving through. A check of the second lateral showed no moisture on the probe. We probably just are not generating enough wastewater for that second lateral to be used, but it is ready for when we have more wastewater flow, such as from guests. Then he carefully packed up the equipment. One thing I noticed that everything was carefully put back into place. That's one sign of a professional. It only took about an hour and a half to have the tank pumped, the baffles and effluent screen checked, and the laterals probed. We didn't have any problems, but he did take some time to answer my questions. I'll receive the bill in a few days, as it's based on his travel, as well as the payment he makes to the wastewater treatment facility where he unloads the septage. So now I'm ready for holiday company and for winter. Now is a good time to have your tank checked and pumped by a certified pumper if you haven't done so for a few years. It's much better than to make an emergency call to a pumper when the ground is frozen. I'm Jan Hygnstrom with the University of Nebraska Extension.